There are so many people that are pretending the words that Charlie said don't exist. Nancy Mace, as you just referenced, called me the enemy of the state. And so these are not people who are interested in bringing us together. And I can't even begin. We will be here all day if I told you all of the things he has said about Muslims and immigrants and the trans community.
We have a few more clips of Ilhan Omar to cover, this time on CNN with Caitlin Collins, discussing why she and others will not and should not be honoring Charlie Kirk's legacy. So take a moment if you can, leave us a like on the video. It helps us out a ton, gives us a boost in the algorithm, and let's get right into the content.
I condemn political violence, and I obviously condemn the assassination of Charlie Kirk. I just not get myself to honor a legacy that I believe was filled with hate, bigotry, and rage baiting. And I think it's really important for us to have this honest conversation about what this man's legacy was, you know, what he spewed on his podcast, and the ways in which he disparaged women of color like myself.
I agree. Republicans are doing this weird trying to force concessions and sympathy from Democrats for a bad person by using Charlie Kirk's death as a cudgel to enact authoritarianism if you don't give that sympathy. It's especially gross when it comes to someone like Ilhan and trying to force her to do so, who's a Muslim woman, obviously a person of color, as if she should have to pay respects to a blatant Islamophobe, right? Who cheered on the genocide of Palestinians simply because they were Muslim, simply because they were Arabs, and who regularly disparaged every part of her identity. He disparaged Muslims, Arabs, women of color, women in general, her home country. He specifically made up disparaging lies about her. Why would she ever want to bend the knee, show condolences, pay respect, honor the legacy of a man who stands against everything she stands for? Remember Charlie Kirk for who he was, not for who we want him to be, because we have empathy for what happened to him.
Nancy Mace, as you just referenced, called me the enemy of the state. And so these are not people who are interested in bringing us together. They're not interested in, turning the volume down. They're not interested in finding common ground. And even the Republicans who voted out of their obligation to the Constitution and doing the right thing in making sure that I didn't get censured for words I did not actually say, they are being under attack right now. They're being threatened. A call for their resignation is out there, and some of them are actually frightened for their lives from their own base. And so, when we say we want a country that's united, it starts with all of us and all of our actions. And we're not seeing that on the other side of the aisle right now.
Right. And it's clear what these people want to happen, what they're trying to invoke with the words they use. And I guess it just turns out if you're not a terrible person, it doesn't really matter what people say about you, almost like your words matter more. But it is hilarious that this is the reality we live in, where the side that is pretending that they deserve all of our sympathy, as if the world has to stop, while the left begs for their forgiveness for being so insane with their political rhetoric that has caused them to be victimized. And, they want peace, but the left just won't stop, as their president then goes to Kirk's memorial and says he hates his enemies, a few days ago, says we shouldn't feel bad for Joe Biden, who has stage 4 cancer, calls all Democrats Marxist criminals that were poisoning the blood of the country, we're thugs, we're trying to destroy America, MAGA, with those like Ilhan calling her a terrorist, an enemy of the state, calling for her deportation despite being a citizen and a member of Congress. Yet somehow we have to pretend that these people aren't the bullies and are the ones that are being bullied. Let's just be so for real.
I do believe it is important for us to hold a mirror. There are so many people that are pretending the words that Charlie said don't exist. The way he made black women feel when he said we didn't have brain processing power to thought processing power to get ourselves into college and to be taken seriously as professionals. Or as a black person, if you were a pilot and he walked on that plane, he'd be scared. These are actual words that this man has said, and I can't even begin. We will be here all day if I told you all of the things he has said about Muslims and immigrants and the trans community. He had hate for so many people, and he mocked the death of George Floyd. This is not somebody I am going to sit back and say had a great legacy of bringing people together.
I completely agree. And she should not give any ground because she's been the utmost respectful about it. She's condemned the violence, the rhetoric, every step of the way. There's no mistake that could possibly be made about that. You can't find one clip or one tweet, anything like that to kind of even frame her as being bad about this. But because she refuses to lie and pretend that this absolute racist piece of was some kind of martyr for peace or democracy, she's warranting condemnation. No, we're going to remember Charlie Kirk's legacy for what it was if you want so bad for his legacy to be remembered, because we were just going to not talk about it. And I want to end this on just an honest note, because it is really frustrating as a person of color to see so many white people trying to police what racism is. Shut the up about it. You have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think a lot of people understand how much of a pompous they look like, trying to tell those who deal with something every single day how it works or what it is when they've never experienced it a day in their life. The ultimate armchair quarterback. And the amount of white people that I've had try to tell me that there's context that makes his comments about the Civil Rights Act right, or context that makes his comments about black women's brain processing power, or context about his comments about Muslims or Jews, something that is somehow not racist because of the context. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what racism is or how it feels, or oh, he helped black people or was cool with Candace Owens, so he can't be racist. Shut up. Shut up. Read a history book, learn from actual professionals, historians, talk to a black person, and stop trying to police victims on the systems that victimize them. You sound stupid and you're convincing no one. And it's probably the most annoying things conservatives do.